All right, so the title of this is Preparedness Isn't Paranoia, it's Responsibility. This is Tailored Family Blue Collar Conversations. This show is brought to you by tailoredfamily.com and tailoredfamilytools.com. Tailored Family Blue Collar Conversations, where real men talk about real life. This is from a father of six, a former alcoholic, an angry man who spent too many years carrying pain he never talked about. But I've worked damn hard to try to change that, to grow, to become the man that hopefully my kids will be proud of. Even if it took falling flat on my face more times than I want to admit, this show's for the ones that are still fighting, the blue collar dads, the sober warriors, the men who feel alone, but keep showing up anyway. We don't fake it here. We don't sugarcoat it. This is for ones that carry more than they say and still get the job done. From our family to yours, let's start the conversation. They called us paranoid. They laughed at the stockpiles, the backup plans, the men who stayed ready until the trucks stopped moving, until the shelves were bare, until the lights went out. Being prepared isn't something crazy in a survivalist fantasy. It's what real men do when he understands how hard it'll be when he's not prepared. No one is coming to save you. Today we're talking about preparedness isn't how preparedness isn't fear, it's love, it's leadership. It's being the kind of man your family can count on when the world around them falls apart. The fragile lie we are living. You think the shelves in the store will always be full. You think the power will always come back on. You think someone somewhere has a plan to fix everything when it all falls apart. They don't. The grocery store you shop at, it, it's got maybe 3 days worth of food, and that's if nothing goes wrong and people don't freak out too bad. And the supply chain, it's trucks, it's diesel fuel, it's a system stretched thinner than anyone wants to admit already. Take away one link, a fuel shortage, a trucking strike, a natural disaster, a cyber attack, and the whole thing snaps. You remember 2020, empty shelves, rationing meat and milk, grown adults fist fighting over freaking toilet paper. They locked us down, shut down our businesses, forced your kids out of school, closed your churches, but they left their liquor stores open. They mandated masks and pushed forced vaccinations like your body didn't even belong to you anymore. All in the name of safety. They showed their hand, took control over your work, your faith, your family, your freedom. That wasn't the apocalypse, guys. That was just a warning shot. And most people roll over and hit snooze. I paid attention. I learned. And I used that to get more ready. Where it breaks down first. So we're going to start talking more about how things are going to go wrong. When things fall apart, it doesn't happen all at once. It starts with cracks. The first crack, transportation. America runs on diesel. Every bite of food, every bottle of water, every gallon of gas, it all rides on trucks. No trucks, no supply. And the trucking system's already kind of crumbling. We have driver shortages, diesel shortages, regulations choking small operators. I mean, I could tell you that California passed a law about diesel vehicles, and one of the local vegetable supply companies here in my community, he told me I had to buy new trucks because he couldn't even go to California. So he had to buy $150,000 truck. So you get to California to pick up the fruit and vegetables to bring back here. Then he could put them on the separate little trucks and ship them out. But he had to get new trucks to go get the stuff. Um, the power grid. So if you've been around me at all, you'll know that the power grid is the one thing that I do not have faith in any way, shape, or form. I really do not have faith in our power grid. It's so fragile. There's so many wide open spaces that it's easy to attack. Um, California blackouts, Texas freeze. People froze to death in their own living room. You remember that? When all the solar panels and the windmills were covered in snow and there was no power because the windmills were frozen, because the solar panels were covered in snow, there was no power. Wildfires knocking out power for entire counties, states, portions of states. Our grid's fragile, overlaid loaded, it's outdated, and it definitely needs some help. And it doesn't help when we have governors and politicians passing laws that make it impossible to sue the power company, even though they're the ones that started the fire, that burned your house down. You have no recourse because you have a governor that signed a thing saying they wouldn't get sued. What does that tell you? They're all in it together, obviously. A whole Paradise, California, completely gone. Completely gone. It destroyed everything there. Nobody could do a thing. All because of the power company. And then there's food. Family farms are being crushed under regulations, fertilizer shortages, slamming global crops, ranchers selling off cattle because feed prices have exploded. And I can tell you, I felt this in my own pocketbook. We had pigs, sheep, goats, chickens, dogs. At one point, we had a donkey. And when we first bought the property and we first got all those animals, it was $8 a bale for a bale of hay. That bale of hay went up to 25 to $27 a bale. I couldn't afford to keep the animals. The animals were gonna cost me more than I could buy meat at Walmart. That was a problem. Now it's leveled out and things have fixed a little bit, but it's still much higher than it was. You can't get $8 a bale hay here anymore. What's filling the gap? Cheap imported garbage, less control, less nutrition, less security. It's a slow collapse. As our farmers go away, as our cattle ranchers go away, so does our food. You hear the cracks. They're already cracking. They're already splitting. No one's coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. Not FEMA, not Red Cross, not some government rescue convoy. FEMA tells you to prep for 3 days because they know that they won't get to you any sooner than 3 days. That's any sooner. Look back, Katrina, wildfires, snowstorms. People waited 5, 6, 7 days. Never got the help at all, actually. And just this year, North Carolina floods. Whole towns cut off for days. Kentucky floods, roads gone, bridges wiped out, families stranded. You better have something. These weren't millionaires in bunkers. These were working class folks just like you and me. And when the floodwaters came, it didn't matter how tough you were. It mattered what you had already had prepared and where it was stored. When your kids are looking at you very cold and very scared, you won't be able to blame the president. You won't be able to blame FEMA. You won't be able to blame the flood. It'll all be on you. You're the one that wasn't prepared. If your house was still standing and you had stuff in the attic, you would have been prepared. You could have gotten the attic, got your stuff out, and been able to at least do something. When you're sitting on the roof waiting to be rescued, you could be eating a can of soup with a little stove burning beside you. It would be different. It's better. Taking these little steps aren't big. It's not really expensive. You don't have to start off with $1 million plan. When the floodwaters came, it didn't matter how tough you were. It mattered had you had already been prepared. When your kids look at you and they're cold and scared, you won't be able to blame the president. You won't be able to blame FEMA. You won't be able to blame the flood. It'll be on you. And if you're still listening, that means you're the kind of man who gets it. It's time to get serious. You're the type of woman that gets it. It's time to get serious. I'm not saying you have to go out and do it all tomorrow. Well, let's talk about the blueprint. Here's the blueprint that I made for you guys. This is my thought. This is what I reserve. This is what I believe. It may not fit everybody, but it's a blueprint. You can use it and you can mold it in your own direction, make it fit you better. But let's talk about it. Food security, dry goods, rice, beans, oats, and pasta. Regular dehydrated pasta, regular rice, both of them last almost an eternity. Canned beans, or not canned bean, dried beans in bags last almost an eternity. Oats, they're a little bit more fragile and you have to keep them dry, but they will last a long time. You can bag those up, put them in a little tub with a couple. I really recommend that people get the oxygen absorbers, those ones that come in in everything you like buy now off from Amazon or wherever. You get those little oxygen absorbers. You can either buy them, you can buy them on all those sites, or you can just keep them. But if you took and put rice in a gallon bag and then put that into a container and kept doing that with oxygen absorbers, that stuff will last for an eternity. And we all know that rice, pasta, oats, all they need is warm water. Canned foods, fruits, vegetables, meats, stuff like that. That can be eaten directly out of the can. So that's an important thing. That's a good thing to have. You don't have to heat a lot of those. Freeze dried meals. The freeze dried meals, those are great. They're expensive, but they're great. Um, Harvest Right freeze dryers, they're a great investment. And there's a link to the Harvest Right freeze dryers on tailoredfamily.com. If you go on tailoredfamily.com and scroll down, you'll see the Harvest Right freeze dryer link. That link is from our page, and we get a little credit for that. So if you guys go check that out, it's down at the bottom of the page. It's almost to the very bottom. Dehydrators, they're great, affordable options to stock your own food. I love them. I have one. It's amazing making your own jerky, making your own dried vegetables, dried fruits. You can do all that stuff. You can make your own spices and stuff like that with dehydrators. It's pretty amazing. Water storage and filtration. Now, this is the most important thing. Store water now, today. If you don't have at least 5 gallons stored somewhere in your house, do it today. Go out, buy one of those 5-gallon jugs that goes in a water cooler or whatever, put it somewhere. It's going to last a long time. After about a year, you'll want to put some bleach in it, but we can talk about that as we go down this. Purify chlorine tabs. You can buy them off from all the sites. They're chlorine tabs. They work great. You drop them in the water, they purify the water, and you're able to use the water. But if you have a stockpile around your house, something that we all use a lot, just regular unscented bleach. 8 drops of unscented bleach per gallon of water. Think about how much water you can purify with a gallon of bleach if it takes 8 drops to purify a gallon of water. Now, make sure it's unscented. You don't want to put your lavender drops in your water. No, don't do that. Get unscented. Um, Filters, the Berkey, Sawyer, Life Straws, those are all great, but learn how to build a natural filter. Books, not YouTube. You guys, when we're talking about preparedness, when we're talking about all of this stuff, survival and everything else, when the power goes out, when the lights go out, when everything goes dark, you're not going to be able to get Google. You're not going to be able to get YouTube, where we're at right now. You're not going to be able to hear my voice. Get a book, read it. Don't even read it. Keep it. Put it somewhere. Put it in plastic. Stick it somewhere very safe up high. Keep it. Because when things go bad, if you can grab that book, you can make your own water filter and stuff like that. You're going to be so much farther ahead than everybody else just because you have that book. Backup power. Solar generators are amazing. They're great. I love the little solar generators. They're great. Gas propane generators, power banks. But you want to protect your batteries. And if you store a couple batteries in something that makeshift Faraday cage, cardboard, that works. You know, if you store some stuff in a Faraday cage, then even if that happens from the sun, and it fries all electronics, you'll still have some. So having that stuff stored away is a good way to do it. If you can shield some of the solar panels in a Faraday cage or something like that, you'll be better off too. Because if the solar panels are working properly that day and there's a solar flare, it will burn out those solar panels too. So remember, you got to have backup ones. Heat and shelter. Wood stove, best option, gold standard. Wood stove will heat with any wood. You will never run out of materials. People say, what if I live in the inner city? There aren't a lot of trees. Okay, first and foremost, I know there's parks. Second, there's fences. There's wood. You just gotta look. Diesel heaters, like the ones that I see on Vivor. I work with Vivor quite a bit. I use their tools, I use their products, and I actually market for them. And the Vivor products are great. And if you're on my websites, you will see them on Taylor Family Tools. There are quite a few Vivor tools listed on that website. I believe in them, and they make these diesel heaters that are great little tools. But you got to have diesel. It's got to be vented. It's good for small spaces. Blah blah blah. Indoor propane heaters. I love them. Mr. Buddies, Mr. Buddy, the Big Buddy, the Little Buddy, the three burner um, infrared propane stoves. The blue one works fine too. Even pellet stoves. When we're talking about secondary heat, a pellet stove actually works really well. The reason a pellet stove works well is you use very little power. So you have an inverter. If you have a solar panel and you have a battery, you should be able to run your pellet stove for approximately 8 hours. And so that will take it through the dark, and then the sun comes up and you can charge the battery again. Um, so even if you only get 6 hours out of it at night, you still get 6 hours of it working. And remember, a pellet stove can burn wood. It just won't auger in and out, but it can have a flame in there. They are made to do that. They do have the firebox. So you can use other things rather than pellets. But if you have pellets stored up, that's great too. And you think about it, if the world really goes bad and things really go bad, at some point you're going to be out scavenging, you'll be able to find things. Um, Wool blankets, thermal sleeping bags, stuff like that. Guys, why not? Why? Um, So there's bags that you can buy on Amazon and stuff like that. And basically you put everything in it and then you take a vacuum and you stick it on the top and it sucks all the air out and it makes them very flat and small. Get one of those. Do that. Fill and then go get one of those Walmart or not Walmart, Costco black tubs with the yellow lid, the big tub. Fill that with blankets and sleeping bags that you've sucked down into that little tiny thing. Put that in your attic somewhere up high if you live in a flood prone area. If you live where I live, you want to just have it somewhere good and stored. We're not going to get flooded like that. I don't know. Earthquakes are probably our biggest scare. So, there's that. But store that stuff. It's not going to go bad, guys. And if you go to stores like Walmart, like after Christmas, and you buy the blankets and stuff that have Christmas print on them, they sell them for like 75% off. And they're inexpensive. You don't mind that you just stick them in there and you store them. It's just a good move. Protection. Know your rights. Know your Second Amendment rights. Train properly. We've created something called Taylor Family Range Day Games, and it's a game program more than anything, but it is the first initial one that we're putting out is 52 playing cards are on the target. It's a 13 by 19 target, and there's 52 player cards on the target. And you start with your right hand, strong hand, or actually start with your strong hand, and I'm not going to say right hand, strong hand, and you take your first shot. You move to weak hand, take your second shot, move to strong hand with your strong eye closed, take your third shot, move to your weak hand with your weak eye closed to take your fourth shot. Then you go back to your standard strong hand, open eyes, fifth shot, and that builds your five card stud poker hand. So if you think about it, you get to play a game, but it teaches you and it trains you in different ways. It's actually fun, but it trains you in some very strange ways. Most people don't train with their offhands. Most people don't train with one eye. Most people don't train with their weak eye. Most people don't train in that way. And if you train to win, you will always win. If you train like you're at war, you will always win the war. You have to train that way. So you know that you're right, you're strong, your dominant hand is the one you use all the time. You're going to hurt that. That's what happens when things go bad. Your dominant hand gets hurt because that's the one you use to do everything. You need to train with your weak hand, train with your weak eye. It's a fun system. It's a fun game. We'll be coming out with more. Right now, we've got this one that comes out. It comes with four of the targets. It has 5 card stud, 5 card draw, 7 card stud, Texas Hold'em, blackjack, and I believe one other card game. It comes with the full directions that we made, that I created. I came up with the directions. I came up with using the weak strong eye. So it's Taylor Family's product. It's made by us, printed by us, and check it out. Some great training. Practice like your life depends on it, because someday it may. Remember that. Medical and first aid, big trauma kits, first aid kits, stock deep, guys. Get this stuff. Dollar stores are great for stocking up on medical supplies, especially bandages and stuff like that. Especially the wraps and triple antibiotic ointments and stuff like that. Alcohol and hydrogen peroxide and all of that. I kind of just get them at the dollar stores, and I'll buy it in 10 bottles and just stick that on the shelf. It doesn't go bad. Over the counter meds, painkillers, stomach meds, allergy relief, have all that stuff. Why not have some extra? So at least you got some time to, that you have those medications that you need. Backup prescriptions. If you can legally get extra prescriptions for whatever prescription medicine you take, try to get it in a 90-day supply and try to figure out, talk to the doctor about this. Figure out a way that you can have 90 days reserve. That's, I know you can't do it with all medication, but see what you can do. Survival medicine books, because Google might be gone when you need it. The survival medical books are amazing. There's so many plants around you that you can eat and drink that are medication, but they can also replace, like if you don't have coffee, if you didn't prep properly and you didn't store yourself a bunch of freeze-dried coffee, because freeze-dried coffee lasts forever, and you can just put it on your shelf. So, and when I say freeze-dried coffee, that's just instant coffee is freeze-dried coffee. That's all it is. So instant coffee, store a bunch if you like coffee. But pine needle tea and stuff like that, they teach you that stuff. All right. So you don't have to be a millionaire to be ready. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to give a damn. Brick by brick, step by step, prepare now. So when the next flood comes, when the trucks stop, when the lights go out, when you're not standing in a bread line and you're standing tall right where you belong in your home, you'll be able to say, I was prepared. This is Taylor Family, built for the hard days, made for the real ones. Please check out taylorfamily.com and taylorfamilytools.com. Like I said, on Taylor Family Tools, there's a lot of tools from Vivor. There's a lot of preparedness stuff on there. Um, and if you look on my sites, you will find a link to Harvest Right freeze dryers, and they are available through taylorfamily.com. And I believe I have the link on taylorfamilytools.com both. You can check those out. Get yourself some shirts. We will be making shirts coming soon that they have a design on the front that's about being a blue collar person, and then on the back will be a quote from the show, and we'll have those available for sale with a link on the shows, so you can buy the one that was attached to the show, to the episode, and we hope you enjoy. With that, preparedness is not paranoia. Be prepared. Rain like your life depends on it, because it just might. We'll see you back tomorrow night.